How do I make $3,000 a day through Instagram and TikTok and YouTube? And how am I, quite honestly, just living off content creation now? And how did this start as a side gig and all of that? So, this is the best side gig that ever paid off, essentially, is really what happened. And if you are new to the channel, you may not know that I did start a Instagram and a TikTok at the beginning, and in the past before that I was doing YouTube. And I've tried all three of these platforms to really perfect and figure out what do they want. And in the end, this was a side thing that I would do while having a full-time job, and now it's become my full-time gig, and now I'm focused on this, and this is all that I'm doing. So as far as making money in Instagram, I would say is the most difficult, but Instagram is what I've had the most luck with going viral with. Now, I think TikTok is easier to go viral on, but TikTok is also difficult to make some money on, especially if you're not located in a country where you're allowed to monetize. So like in Canada, it's very difficult to monetize on a lot of these platforms and stuff like that. And that's where I'm living, is in Canada. So what did I do exactly to monetize myself and create this money? So I do make a little bit from YouTube AdSense. So, I am monetized on YouTube on my channel, and I only have like 7,000 subscribers, but I still get a couple $100s a month from my YouTube channel. I'm getting anywhere from $300 to $700 a month roughly. And now as far as Instagram is probably where I'm most profitable because I get the most amount of brands reaching out to me. Now with Instagram, the biggest thing that you're going to want to look at is how can I get people interested in collaborating with me and paying me to do collaborations? Or two, between your Instagram and TikTok, this should be basically the same values you want out of it. So how can you get people to collaborate with you and pay you to collaborate? The second one is what product can I sell on my TikTok and Instagram and push out there without upsetting my audience and pushing them away and making them think that you're all in it for the money, because you don't want that either. You don't want people to think that you're just doing this for wealth or for money. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you're doing it for fame, you probably shouldn't be doing this at all, because I can tell you there's no fame that comes really with this, and in the end it doesn't mean anything. So what you're probably after is somehow to capitalize on this and profit from it, because at the end of the day, this is a lot of your time that this is going to eat up. This is not something that's as simple as just posting a quick video and getting it out there and you're done with. You're going to want to actually probably improve and get better at each video that you post, and that takes time. And when I say time, you're probably going to need about 30 to 40 uploads until you start to get into maybe a little bit of rhythm and start to see an audience that's actually catching onto your content and really starting to like it. If after like 40 to 50 videos you don't really see any growth or much growth at all, then I would maybe say start to think of possibly a different niche to go into, but that's a video for another day. We're going to talk about how do I exactly pull that $3,000 per day. So obviously YouTube, I said how much I'm getting a month out of it. I mean, that's nowhere close to the $3,000. So what I find is I try to lock down 3 brand deals per day if I can. And usually these brand deals I'm probably getting about, between the 3 of them, hopefully around $1,500. So about $500 a brand deal is usually about what my goal is. And then now, like I said, you might be getting a couple dollars from YouTube, and obviously that can be a lot higher. If I spent more time with YouTube, I feel like I could definitely earn more passively too, like that. YouTube is the best way to earn, in my opinion. It's just the hardest place to earn on, because like I said, you're relying on that AdSense revenue, and but you can get some really good brand deals through YouTube as well. So anyways, moving on. And then with TikTok and Instagram, what I will do is I'll push some sort of product, whether it's a digital product or it's something like an actual physical product that somebody can buy. And I've experimented with both. I have both going on my channels, and typically I find a physical product that's better for me. Digital products are hit or miss. Some do really well, some like flop completely, and you don't get what you expect out of it at all. So you really need to know your audience really well if you're going to do a digital product, I find, and as well as a physical product. But then between the sales from those, plus like I said, the brand deals, you're probably going to be getting around between that and all that, you're probably, let's say, around $2,000 with everything that I've just mentioned now up until this video. Now, the last 1,000 is the most crucial. And the reason why is what I do is I actually get UGC money through a company where they funnel these brands that basically want me to do UGC content. Now, this actually has nothing to do with posting on your account. So you are essentially making videos for these companies and with their product, and it's just going on their account. Now, it will be your face on their account, but you don't have to post it actually. So now they do pay a lot less. They usually pay about $100 to $300 a video for something like this. But typically I can pull anywhere from 5 to 10 of these UGC brand deals per day I'm getting from them funneled into me, and I can pull that off, get those done. Each one takes me about 45 minutes, let's say. I mean, 45 minutes to make $100 is a pretty good damn deal if you ask me. So like I said, this is something that working at it, it's definitely going to take hours to get there, but like I said, this has now become a full-time thing for me, and I'm no longer just doing this as a side hustle. As a side hustle, you're probably going to be pulling per day at most probably $500. It is very difficult to do this as a side hustle, to pull over $1,500 a day. That is a crazy amount of money. And I'm not saying every day I'm making $3,000. I'm typically making probably more on average, anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 in between there somewhere. But those are the biggest keys as far as how you're going to pull this kind of revenue in a day. And it's not going to just come from one source, but between the 3 of them or 4 of them, you can make quite a bit of money on social media. The biggest thing, guys, is engagement. If you can show that people engage with your content, it shows brands for UGC, for one, that you understand what works and what does not, which is very beneficial to these brands that are sending you their products so that they can use you, because essentially they're going to go off of your best advice with that video for what's going to work for them and what's not. And then on top of that, for brand deals, it is extremely crucial. And like I said, you're going to have to build a bit of a following. You don't need 200,000 followers, but 10 to 50,000 followers is probably a good amount for you to start earning. And that's across all platforms. I mean, if we're talking subscribers, you probably want 10,000 or more, and you will start to funnel that in. At the end of the day, the biggest thing, guys, is just get started. Start posting, see what's going to work right away. Like I said, you're probably going to need about 30 to 40 videos until you really figure out if that niche is going to work. And that's why this takes time. And that's why it's a good side hustle to start. Because once when you figure out what works, that's when you can start to see, okay, how am I going to turn this into revenue? Then you start to turn it into revenue, and then you're like, okay, now I feel like I can push myself and push the boundaries a bit to make even more in this. And that's when it starts to transition into a full-time thing. And that's what we want at the end of the day out of this, right? But yeah, that is my video for today, guys. Thank you for watching. And as always, I'll be back with more videos.